Hi, Rashonda.
Hi, Amber.
How are you?
I'm good.
And good. I know. Listen, I'm like all in my notes. I even forgot to be like, hey, girl, listen to your actual answer. My bad. Anyway, thanks for joining me on In the Middle. This is where we get to have a conversation about the lessons we learn about ourselves and faith while we're in the middle of whatever journey we're on. And through all our conversations and conversations I've had previously with other people about being in the middle of launching a new career, launching a new job, launching a business, getting married, um, we've all realized that there's so much to learn about ourselves while we're doing the thing that we're trying to do, even before we accomplish it. And sometimes those lessons are even more important than actually even reaching the destination. And so today we get to talk to my girl, Rashonda, who we haven't even known each other that long, Rashonda,
I
but it feels like
know.
we've known each other forever.
It does.
Yes. So, Rashonda, so that people can get to know you before we dig into what you are in the middle of,
Yeah.
what were you in the middle of right before you hopped on this call?
I was in the middle of taking a shower to get ready for this call, and my son busts in and asks me where the scissors are, and to tell me that my other son, jumped off of his Zoom call and the class is still in session. So right before this call, that's what I was in the middle of. I was in the middle of showering and remote school with my kids.
Yay, remote school. I know about my door is currently closed off to remote school learning. Both of my girls are home today. And I listen, they don't care when I'm on a call.
No,
So if they make an appearance today, I just like to put it out there that it's happening and it's no longer in my control.
I don't know what's gonna happen over the next hour. I could get an interruption too. And actually, if can I'm gonna turn off my overhead lights because it's gonna drive me crazy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I don't know if it's bothering you. Hold on.
Oh, I see them. I understand. Oh, very good.
Okay. That okay, that feels better for my eyes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
No, it's
that's what I was in the
awesome.
middle of right before this call.
Ah, lovely. Lovely. I was in the middle of training for an upcoming half marathon.
Mm.
Yes, it's on March 20th, and this is my third time running a like running a half in March, and I get really excited, So I'm training, and I know that I always have a training plan, and I have about 2 months, obviously, until this race happens. And I was just thinking today, like, there's a part of me that's like, oh, it's time to start training. It means I have to run, which like the days I'm like, I don't feel like it, I'll just do something else. I no longer have that option. But I did learn that there's like a switch that flips in my head when it is time to start training. I have my little chart, and I just like, I will do anything to make sure that I can actually check the box off on the chart and not miss a particular day that I have planned out. So I'm in the middle of that and I'm tired, but I am also excited.
That's amazing. I was
Yeah.
like, I was just taking a shower. And you're like, and I'm training for. It's funny because I started last spring. I was not as diligent about it as you just described your process, but I've always wanted to run, jog, sprint,
Hmm.
like as part of exercise, Like if I could just, because I see people running all the time.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, it looks so freeing and so like they're in their zone. Like I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I've started and stopped and started and stopped. And I feel like I haven't trained myself. I don't know how to breathe right. So I can't endure even a 30-minute.
Yeah.
So I had this app and I was using this app that just like gradually
Yeah.
built you up.
Yeah.
I have to do it over again because I didn't stick with it. And so I got to the end and then I stopped. There was no consistency, there was no discipline like in the process that you just described. So maybe in the spring you will be my running coach. So that I really want to be able to I really really want to be able to do it.
No, I'll be cheering for you, but it sounds like you're,
Not cheering for me, not
oh.
cheering for me.
Okay.
Help me do it.
Well, I was gonna say though, it sounds like you've already, the key is just to start small. If you,
Yes.
and whatever that is, like you might run a block and call it a day, and you just keep doing that until you recognize that you're gonna start running more. But yes, I will cheer for you and coach you and all of that. And map it out too. I do think it's really helpful to say, like, I'm gonna do this and then to stick to it. I'm driven.
Stick to it
Yeah.
is where I felt that's where it was really hard for me to stick to it. So
Wow. Maybe that's what we'll talk about today. Things that are really hard to stick to when we're in the middle of trying to get somewhere. It's like it can be really hard to stick to the plan that we have.
yeah.
So let's talk about it. So, Rashonda, what are you in the middle of right now?
I'm in the middle of launching my first business.
Yay!
Yay.
Oh yeah, tell us about this business.
Well, I'm gonna officially launch and announce in like 2 weeks. So I don't want to preempt that, but I'll talk about like the process of it and sort of like where I'm at in it. I had a goal for myself for a couple of years now that I wanted to own my own business by 40. I turned 40 in November. So that was
Congratulations.
thank you. That was pretty big for me. Because I had been thinking about it for so long. So to finally decide and do it was huge. So that's one milestone. Just even the decision to do it, that was pretty big. But I think for years, probably at least 10 years, I have journals lying around the house where I like brainstorm different business ideas. I knew I always wanted it, but for many, many years, I just wasn't getting closer to it. And I think it definitely made a difference when I said, by 40, I have to be my own boss. And I put it everywhere I could. So I think that also helped, just actually naming the goal, having it be specific, and having it show up on my phone, on my vision board. It just was in a lot of places. So I think that helped. And I think I got clarity eventually over what I thought I'll find out soon, right? Because I'm launching, but what I thought I needed in terms of a business to be successful. So I decided to invest in a franchise
Mhm.
because I wanted something that felt a little bit less risky and that I had a proven framework to work from. So I wanted some of the freedoms that come with being a business owner, but I also wanted something I could replicate. So I'm launching a franchise.
You are launching a franchise.
Yeah.
Rashonda, you turned 40, you set this goal, you're launching a franchise. Okay, so clearly launching your own business is a big deal and you're learning a lot. So what do you love about this decision you've made? What do you love about the fact that you've launched, like you're in the middle of launching a business?
I think one of the values that got me here is freedom. So I've wanted freedom just in control over every aspect and element of my life. So what am I loving? I'm loving the freedom. I'm loving being able to wake up and decide what I don't have total control. I have a husband, I have 2 kids, I got the dog. So it's not totally free, but I do have a lot more. I have more control than I've ever had over what my day looks like. And that freedom and control just it means the world to me. Like thinking about that excites me. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to decide how I spend my time and how I spend my day. Um, what else am I excited about? I'm excited about and I just forgot what I want to make sure I'm answering your question. You asked
No, you're
me,
totally, I said like, what
yeah,
do you love about being in the middle of it? But you said that you love the freedom that you
I
have.
love the freedom of it. I
Yeah.
do. I do. I love the freedom of it. I think that was the whole reason why I wanted to do it. I love that I don't have to ask permission to not attend this meeting because I want to do a school meeting instead,
Mhm.
or can't go to this, can't do this meeting now because I have a dot. I don't have to ask for permission. I love that so much. So the control over my day and my schedule is huge to me. I
Yeah.
think I think though, what I'm also in the middle of is choosing, right? Like how to spend the day. Like that's also really, really tough because just time. Time is like my biggest asset right now. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to shift, I'm trying to reframe like the never enough time, which is how I always feel. Like I always feel like there's never enough time. And that's never a good, it's not been a good feeling for me. So I'm trying to really think about what's most important. So I'm focusing on priorities and feeling good about what I am able to accomplish in a day versus focusing on all the things that I didn't get to. So if I can knock out the 2 to 3 things that I said were most important for the day, it's a good day. Like, and I should feel good about that. So I'm in the middle of trying to figure out how to balance the business and all of the other duties, with being a
Yeah.
mom and my kids being home and all of that. So
I love I love that you have that freedom and that you've given yourself permission to make your own schedule. So I think like when we have these big transitions, a lot of times we try to function the same way within this transition that we did before, right? So I hear you saying, and I also am not, I don't work a 9 to 5 either. And I find myself sometimes still trying to be like, okay, I'm going to work from 9 to 5 and not necessarily give myself the flexibility to say, well, actually, I don't need to, have my laptop open at 9. Like I can do how I can work it however I want to.
yeah.
Um, so what have you found out? Has anything surprised you about how you use your time or what you've learned about yourself um, in a good way in this process?
I'm learning a ton. I'm learning a ton. I'm learning, this is a good thing. I'm learning that I know much more than I give myself credit for. So that's been a great thing. I think I've focused a lot on not knowing enough. And through this process, I've just been able to take a moment and say, no, actually, the last 20 years of being in corporate America and nonprofit, I have learned a ton. So that's been a good thing. I'm pausing enough to see what I bring to the table. So that's felt really, really good. That's felt really good. I have to say that. What else am I learning? I'm learning that I know this about myself, but I'm understanding it differently, I guess. I'm very type A. I'm very checklist. I'm very organized and very methodical and very loud, and um I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying before with time, always focusing on what I didn't get to do. So I think I'm also learning a little bit more about how I make decisions, about what's important to me. I'm learning a lot about that. What is important, what isn't important. What I thought was important because it's how things have always been. So I'm like challenging everything, like the freedom to even examine, like your point that you made before. um I don't have to open the laptop at 9 o'clock. Why do I? Because I've always done it, right? So I think even trying to be really intentional and very clear about how I'm doing things, why I'm doing things, and that they can be what I want them to be, not what they have always looked like or what they've always been for, because that's how it was at the other job. So I think I'm just learning to re-examine how I do the things that I do. I think, before I'd have a laundry list of things because I get fulfillment out of like checking the box, checking the box, checking the box. Now I'm getting comfortable with there's 3 boxes that I'm checking today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm getting comfortable with that. I'm learning I have to be okay with 3 boxes because these were the 3 most important things. So I didn't get 10 things done. I got 3 really important things done. And actually that was a really good day. So that's different for me, multitasking, queen of multitasking before, and almost like taking pride, right? And being able to do 101 things. Well, now I'm kind of thinking about it. Like, is that the best way?
Yeah.
Is that the way? Is because before, it's just sort of like conventional wisdom is like you should, so, or you have to. Well, I
Yeah.
don't want to. Does it have to be like that? So multitasking is like an old behavior that I took pride in, and
Mhm.
would even, talking to friends or even an interview, I probably would tout it as like a skill and something I'm good at. Well, now I'm like, well, is that really the best thing for me? Should I just say right now I am just doing this thing
Yeah.
and that is it, or sleeping.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I've decided I'm gonna sleep 7 to 8 hours a night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't care what else has to happen. I'm sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. And almost, I guess I felt like when I was corporate, it was almost like a badge of honor in some ways, in some sick, like twisted way. I only slept 5 hours last night, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone was like, who slept the least number of hours because of the baby, because of you were up doing extra work. Like, I don't know if that's the badge of honor for me anymore. I'm actually excited to be able to say, no, I slept 7, 8 hours, and I'm not a slacker, and I worked my ass off, right? For
Yeah.
the day, and I deserve to sleep 7 or 8 hours. And so, I guess I'm trying to just do things a little bit differently. I'm learning how to do things differently.
Yeah. And what I hear you saying too is that you're realizing that you can live life on your own terms in ways that really do help you be a better person, probably be a better wife, be a better mom, love yourself better, right? That have been uniquely designed by you and how you want to live your life, rather than how you should live, or designing the way you function based upon what other people are doing. And that is, I think that has been a goal for me in recognizing like there's another way to live. There's another
Yeah.
way that I can live life on my own terms, or in my spirituality. I always talk about living life on God's terms, because there's so you when you said that sort of a badge of honor, how many hours did you work, or how late did you stay up last night? I can think of so many conversations I've had where where especially at work, where we're talking about how hard we're working, how exhausted we are, but we're still in it and we're still doing it. At the end of the day, and I think, if I'm speaking for you, you tell me if I'm wrong, but like at the end of the day, at this stage in life where you just can't, you know what I mean? Like I cannot be my best self for my husband or for my daughters if I'm exhausted all the time and sort of squeezing them into little pockets. Because Lord knows they're the first people to tell me where I am falling short. And that's just not how I choose to live my life anymore. And so, to be in the middle of launching this business and finding freedom and recognizing that, there's another way to do things that you have complete control over. That is so good.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool.
All right. So that is what you love and what you've learned, that in what you're enjoying about this whole process. But what's been really hard about being in the middle of launching this business?
Um, I guess sorry, the unknown, the
Mm-hmm.
unknown,
Yeah.
the unknown is hard. Um, and I think the reality is, here's the thing. So I do believe in, your words matter, language matters, that you should only speak the things into existence that you want. Like I believe in that. I have to work on that, right? Because one side of my brain says, the reality is new businesses fail.
Yeah.
Facts, right? Like it's facts. Do I want to speak that into existence for myself? No, but I want to accept the fact that this may not play out how I want it to play out.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other side of my brain is like, don't even say it, right? This will work. You will be successful. That's where your mindset needs to be. So I kind of toggle from side to side. But I think the reason why the businesses fail side kicks in is because that helps me to then think about what I need to put in place so I'm not that statistic, right? So, but like the two different sides of my head, and heart and brain, like all those voices. What do I listen to? So, fear of the unknown, that's hard right now because we're talking about money, right? We're talking about livelihood. We're talking about I have 2 kids, a house, a dog, student loans, all the stuff, right? So it's real. It's real. So I'm excited to wake up and figure out what the day looks like and have control. I'm dealing also with the reality that I don't have a check coming in right now. And so, looking back on it, the last 20 years in corporate nonprofit, you have a bad week, you have a bad month at work, the check is still coming.
Right.
Like, you're still going to get paid.
Yeah.
That's not the reality right now.
Right.
My check, which is empowering and scary, but my check will 100% reflect what I have done or not done successfully. Bottom line, that's it, right? If I do this well, I will see a check, right? So it's scary. The unknown is scary. I'm trying to do better, not feel better about it, because I think I'm going to have the feeling, but I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone more. Even doing what I've done so far is pretty big for me, because I think I'm more risk averse. But there's a lot about this business model that will cause me to get out of my comfort zone. I'm an introvert, though a lot of people will debate me about that, but I am. I don't like, I think I've been
extroverted introvert.
I'm really an introvert, and I think that I've tried to work hard to build up more extroverted skills because my jobs demanded it, but I recharge by myself, right? Like, at the end of the day, I really do recharge on myself. So I'm scared about the unknown. I'm scared because a lot of what I'll need to do to make this business successful is going to require me to step out of my comfort zone. So there's that. I would say, what else is hard? What else is hard is, I think, again, trying to find the balance, right? So I want to feel rested and sleep 7-8 hours a night, right?
Yeah.
I also want this business to work. So every day is a constant battle of, but should I put in a couple more hours? Should I put in a few more hours? Should I take on a separate side gig just in case this doesn't work out? Or should I 100% like believe in this? If I believe in it, put 100% of myself in it. Don't split attention with that side gig, because that's even acknowledging that you don't believe this business is going to work. So what's hard is knowing which voice to listen to, right? It's still every day practicing and trying to feel the right decision. I think buying the franchise was a brain decision, but it also was a feel decision. It was like a gut. Like, when I close my eyes, does it feel right? It felt right. So what's hard for me now is still decision making, right? Is this my heart? Is it my brain? What is my body telling me to do? So I'm trying to even get a framework for how I make decisions, and being okay with the outcomes that come with it. So those are some patience. I don't have any. I don't have patience for myself. I don't have patience for, sometimes I don't have patience for my kids. I know, because it's a franchise, and I belong to a network of 80 others. There's a lot of benchmarks, which is great. I know what the timelines look like. That's not the timeline I want. I want to beat it. I want to do it fast, and how much of that is okay? How much of that is like, smart, go after, be aggressive, go do it? And how much of it's like, nah, just slow down. Yeah. Take your time. Breathe, so like, those are the things that I'm trying to feel I'm in the middle of and feel hard, and I'm trying to navigate.
But I think the fact that you know those things is weird, is really important. So I heard you say that you recognize that you need to step out of your comfort zone, and you're becoming more comfortable with that. And you recognize that you need to recharge. And you also said, your patience, and even balancing sort of reality with vision, right? Like the awareness of all of those things. And I had a thought this morning, the sort of, and what you're saying reminds me of it, which is about how, when we're in the middle of anything, we have to get good at learning.
Yes.
Right? You're getting, like, you are learning these skills, but actually the the key to sort of making it to wherever we need to get to is our ability to get good at being in the middle and then learning all the things that we're trying to learn. Right. And so what I hear you saying is just like your self-awareness of what you struggle with or what's been a challenge for you, and then how you go about navigating it. And I think that, you're learning, yes, I have this freedom, but I'm also feeling this pressure to move forward and to put in more work. But you recognize that you need to recharge, because you're not going to be good to this business if you're like laid out and you're burnt out before you even get
That's right.
before you even get through the first year. And just and I hear you giving yourself grace, and I hope that you give yourself grace for all of the unknowns that you're talking about. There's so much that you don't know and that you're going to be learning, and that you're just open to whatever that could be. um, so listening to you, I am taking away and just thinking more about getting good at learning, and that things aren't going to be perfect right in the beginning. And it's like, the more that we can accept that there is going to be mistake making, and we're going to be a little bit lost and confused, but that we're focused on, like, what do we need to do to get through those spaces. When we accept that there's reality, that they're going to happen, I think is a really important learning. That is really hard because you want things to happen. Rashonda, I know he's a really successful person, and it's like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna go head first into this place that I really don't have a roadmap for. But I really appreciate the way that you just are like tackling the process, and not just you. I mean, and I know you well enough to know that you are like, this is going to be successful, but you're also just your eyes are wide open to every single step that you're taking and what it means for you to even get to the place that you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was something else that you said that resonated with me, which was the reality versus the visionary. And I hear you. I mean, you and I talk a ton about sort of manifesting and speaking over ourselves and these affirmations, which I agree. Right. And because, like, the other day, so even doing in the middle. So for those of you who are watching, we spent like 15 minutes trying to figure out how to get this on live. And a part of me in that time, Rashonda, was like, well, it's fine, we don't need to be live because I don't want anybody to watch it anyway. It makes me really nervous. And I'm trying to balance that with, well, no, you do. I do want people to watch this. And I don't want to speak negatively and just, push my expectations to the side. I want to have those really great expectations and speak life into what it is we're doing, because I realize, like, for you and your business, and for me and launching ministry, if I don't believe I can do it or that it can get there, then how is anybody else going to believe it? So, um, and so my offering there is, I hear you on the positivity that we speak about this, and then the question is, how do we also navigate the realities and plan around it? So, and plan around when things work out.
Yes.
But maybe it's just that we recognize that, like, not everything is going to work out.
Yeah.
And we're ready when it doesn't.
Yes.
And that's okay. But we expect it to.
Yes. I think that's right.
Yay. Okay, Rashonda. Well, how can we pray for you?
Always for good health.
Mm-hmm.
Always for good health. And I think I would ask that I believe in myself as more than, other people believe in me more than I believe in myself. And it should not be that way. I think I would love prayer for perseverance and for discipline, the discipline that you talked about at the top with your preparing for your race, discipline, perseverance, courage, bravery, stick with this and see it through, not to give up. I think that based on where I am right now, that's the prayer that I need, is for courage and perseverance to keep going.
Well, we will be lifting you up, Rashonda. And I bet that these are all things that we all need in the process of being in the middle on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I thank you for sharing those. And I know that we can all resonate with what you're saying. All right, last question for you
Yeah.
is, and I always have to look at this question to frame it right because I seem to overcomplicate it. So I'm gonna look at it. Okay,
Okay.
so we are going to spotlight you in 6 months.
Mhm.
And in light of everything that you shared today, what are we going to say about you in 6 months?
That I am on track to meet my year one financial goals for this business. You will say that I got bloodied up. That's the language my one of my mentors says. I got bloodied up. I got out there. I got out there and I fell. I got bruised. Um, because I put myself out there and I tried some things and I learned some things. I hope that you will, I hope that that will be the case in 6 months. I will have learned a ton and maybe learned it the hard way. Maybe learned it the hard way a little bit because I got out of my comfort zone, what we were talking about before. So, um, I think that's what I hope the update will be in 6 months.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yes, you're on track. And you know that you got bloodied in the process, but that means that you got back up and you worked.
Yes.
You worked for each step you took. And I can't wait to share that update with everybody in 6 months. So thank you so much for joining everybody who's watching. We know that we're in the middle, you're in the middle. What are you in the middle of? And what have your lessons learned been so far? I'd love for you to share those in the chat. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.